This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hello, pet lovers. This is Michelle Fern, your host on Best Bets for Pets. So, just about everybody listening has a pet, most likely a pup. And, feeding time can be an issue. What do you feed? Is it the right food? Are they going to eat it? Et cetera, et cetera. It could be a headache for the pet parent, but no more. I have a great product we're going to talk about today, and I just can't wait to get it in, and you're going to hear the Nikki story. So we're going to be right back. Hey everyone, Michelle Fern here. I want to tell you about Carlson Pet Products. They are a family-owned, budget-conscious company specializing in creating pet safety products to keep your pet happily protected from the puppy stage through the senior years. Carlson offers a variety of products such as pet pens, folded elevated beds, crates, and pet gates. Their portable pet pens are lightweight and foldable and have a carry bag for storage when you're on the go. I love traveling with my portable pet pen from Carlson. It's made traveling with Nikki so much easier. I've used my portable pet pen at home, again, traveling, or even when I'm doing a short road trip. They're also ideal to use at home, traveling, or simply headed to the park down the street. The portable pet pens come in two sizes, 6-panel or 8-panel, and they give your pet ample room to move around. Plus, you can add an attachable canopy to create a shaded outdoor oasis for your pet. Visit carlsonpetproducts.com to get 25% off your order, plus free shipping using the promo code PETLIFE.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I'd like to welcome Renaldo Webb. He is the founder and chief product officer of PetPlate. Welcome, Renaldo.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Really excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. So PetPlate is obviously food for your pets, but tell everybody, what exactly is it?
Yeah, of course. So PetPlate, we're a human-grade pet food delivery service. So first and foremost, everything we do at PetPlate is 100% human-grade. What does that mean? We make all of our food, our treats, and our supplements in USDA kitchens alongside human food. Oftentimes, we're the only pet food that's made in these kitchens. And what I think really separates PetPlate from the rest is we marry our human-grade nutrition with a personalized feeding algorithm and experience. So when you hop on our website, it's not kind of your standard experience you might see on Chewy or Amazon. We actually get to know your pet because we think every dog is an individual that has its own specific nutritional needs. And we meet that by understanding a little bit about your pet through a really quick survey. We understand their breed, body condition, activity level, and then from there, we can recommend a personalized meal plan for your dog, taking into account the specific number of calories they need, any allergies or ailments. And then all of this information is boiled into your dog's meal plan, where the meals come in easy to use, usually about 2 servings per recyclable, resealable container. So it's really easy to know what breakfast and dinner is like for your dog. Just half the container in the morning, half the container at night. And then we have organic treats and supplements as well for if your dog has specific needs or you just want to, treat them as much as possible. So that's a little bit about PetPlate and what differentiates us from some of the other pet food companies out there.
Okay, boy, that is it in a nutshell, because I spent time on your website and you covered that really well. Let's go over this everything in detail. Let's talk about certain things like I can understand, knowing the weight of your dog, if it's a small dog or a larger dog, because I don't know, teeth size and who knows what else they need, more calories. But why is the breed so important? I know the weight and everything, but what about the breed part that makes it important?
No, that's a great question, and obviously based off of the weight, you can determine a lot about the dog, right? Also based on the breed, you typically know the weight once you understand if it's a male or female. But what we've done is we've worked with, our, tens of thousands of PetPlate customers across the US, and we've been able to identify what meals and what characteristics do best for certain breeds. We've also worked with our veterinary nutritionist, Dr. Renee Streeter, to back this up with like veterinary science. And for specific breeds, such as a Labrador Retriever or a Golden Retriever, we've identified them as obese prone. Right. So the same amount of calories that might not lead a German Shepherd to being obese might lead a Black Lab or Golden Retriever to being obese. So we manually adjust, or we automatically adjust the number of calories you recommend for your dog. That's one type example.
So I wouldn't have thought that Golden Retrievers and Labs are obese prone because they're pretty active, but you can tell just by the breed and, the veterinarian you're working with and so forth, that these dogs tend to, become overweight and this and that. So let's automatically cut back on their calories for what we're doing for them.
Exactly. And that's, and obviously every dog is different. If you're a Labrador Retriever, living the life that, Labrador Retrievers were designed to live and out kind of helping, your owner hunt, right? Maybe you're not an obese dog. And we account for that by taking into account their activity level, which we would then scale up the number of calories you recommend. But for your average Labrador Retriever, living in, suburban America, right? They end up, unfortunately, over time becoming obese. And when you look at the number of dogs and cats in America, about 60% that are overweight or obese, the data kind of bears that out. And we find that disproportionately affects some breeds. So we've been able to factor that into our algorithm. There are other breeds that we know are more active and have, more, muscle mass per pound of body weight. So we recommend them more calories, right? So we've been able to do, slight things like that. And we're working on identifying dogs that, have sensitivities to, or that are more likely, for example, to contract pancreatitis. So we would recommend one of our lower fat dishes as opposed to a higher fat dish. So those are the types of things you're able to do once you have access to kind of pet parent data like we do when you're working with veterinary nutritionists and you marry that with the seamless customer experience.
How do you decide, or is it based on the pet parents' choices or so forth on the type of menu? Because you offer a variety, right? There's chicken, beef, lamb, and I think turkey.
Yep, exactly right. And, and the great thing about us being a startup, Michelle, is that we're constantly evolving. So it wouldn't be on our site right now. So if you go and you were to check that, you can go and look on it, you wouldn't see this, but we're deep in planning for a launch in middle of November, our allergy and ailment recommendation. So if you were to go through and tell us your dog has, allergies to chicken or allergies to turkey or allergies to grains, we're able to dynamically flag what recipes have those ingredients and make sure they're not recommended for your meal plan. Also, if you tell us your dog has specific health concerns, we're then able to let you know which one of our meals best meets those health concerns. So if your dog has a sensitive stomach, we recommend our most digestible meals for your dog with, the simplest, carbohydrates and things such as that nature. If you say your dog's a picky eater, we're going to recommend our most flavorful meals, which through testing we found out do the best with picky dogs. So we're been working on that for a couple months now. We're going to be excited to get that launched for our customers very soon.
Well, wait till I tell you the story of Picky Nicky. That'll come a little later. Okay, let's talk about this. A lot of dogs these days are on prescription food. I'm not going to name names, but there's, the letters RC. They make a lot of prescription food. There's we know as pet parents, there's a lot of prescription food out there. What if your dog's on a prescription food? How can we switch to PetPlate?
Yeah. So, with that, you do have to be very careful. If your dog's on a prescription diet that your veterinarian recommended, whether, let's say, they have pancreatitis or, kidney disease, you need to be very careful of adding, or supplementing the diet with PetPlate. We do have a toppers plan where you're able to add PetPlate to a prescription meal, just, as a little bit of a topper, and we would send you less food and recommend the right amount of calories for that as well. And that could work really well to kind of introduce human grade fresh cooked food to your dog's diet. But there are other prescription diets that, while they may be recommended by a vet, things like PetPlate may do very well on them. For example, their allergy diet. I forget what some of the brands, call it, but you would know if your dog's on that. We only use single source proteins at PetPlate, and maybe your dog will do really well on our lamb dish, right? There's no chicken and no other things. So, we found a lot of dogs that suffered due to allergies on traditional dog food and had to go to prescription do well on our novel protein diets. We also have a pork and a venison dish launching very soon as well that I think would be good fits for that. Dogs that need to be on weight management diets oftentimes do really well on PetPlate because we do the weight management for you in terms of the personalized feeding instructions. So you literally can't overfeed your dog unless you feed them another container of food. So we've done a lot of things like that to kind of address some of the issues with prescription diets, but you have to handle it by a case basis. What I will say is you can reach out to our pet specialists on our website. Just email petcare@petplate.com. And, one of our trusty pet members will be able to help you figure out how to incorporate food like PetPlate into your dog's diet or their treat/supplement regimen.
Okay, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. Molly, here's your dinner. Zeus, that's not your food.
Don't let that happen to your precious cat. Elevate your cat's eating experience with the Cat Tree Tray. The Cat Tree Tray keeps your cat's food off the floor and conveniently located on the cat tree. It's the perfect way to eat. It's a beautiful wrought iron tray that easily attaches to your cat tree and keeps dogs and other critters out of your cat's dish. A must for multi-pet households. There's a 6-inch tray for large bowls and a 4-inch tray for smaller bowls. Purchase your Cat Tree Tray today. Go right now to cattreetray.com. That's cattreetray.com. CATTREETRAY.com.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. We're talking to Renaldo Webb about PetPlate. So, okay, Renaldo, I want to tell you, you guys sent some samples, thank you. And I want to tell you the story of Picking Nicky before we get into how the subscription works. Picking Nicky is a little Havanese, and he tends to, and he gets a little bit wet, a little bit dry, and he pushes his food around. Not only the kitchen, the living room, wherever he can go, he pushes it. I can't tell you how many times I have stepped in or tripped over Nicky's bowl. Different bowls. I thought we had one where he couldn't push, and then he pushed it. So he plays with his food all the time. Now, I was recently on vacation, took Picky Nicky. He was living the life. Because when you're on vacation, sometimes if you're out during the day, he can't get dog food or something with him. So he had hamburgers, he had some chicken. He's living the life, right? So we get home and I think, my husband's like, we'll just order from the kids' menu. He's like, sometimes his food was more than mine, but we got to take care of him. So I thought we get home, how are we going to feed this guy? He's not going to like anything. And same thing, pushing the bowl around. So PetPlate came just the other day. We heated it up a little bit to, enhance the flavor. Gobbled it.
Love it.
Gobbled it. No picking, no moving the bowl. He just gobbled it down. And he's a Havanese. He's a little dog, but you get concerned when they're not eating and just playing with the food. We've tried other fancy food that's out there, but he picks out what he wants and then doesn't eat any more of it. But he loved PetPlate. So wanted to share that with everyone. And this is coming off of a diet of, living the life of hamburger and chicken and everything. So, your food's human grade. I guess it's not that much of a stretch because, right?
Yeah. We literally use same ingredients you'd find at a grocery store. Our kitchens don't order separate food for PetPlate than they use for their other products that they make. So it's literally the same quality of food you and I would eat. And I think dogs are just smart enough to know what tastes good and what doesn't. And the processes that we use for making the food and the testing that goes into it, I think just leads to an overall better product.
Well, Nikki was thumbs up, and I'm sure if Mr. Zeus was still with us, he unfortunately passed away about a year or so ago, he would be gobbling it up too, and there would be a fight between them if they tried to eat out of each other's bowl. Okay, let's talk about how PetPlate works, because a lot of people out there hear, okay, it's, subscription and this, and they think, okay, I'm not going to be able to afford this. I don't know what I'm going to do. But you do have prices on your website. So you're pretty transparent, I think. Tell us about how the subscription works and, the pricing and all that.
Yeah, of course. So when you hop on our website and you fill out a little bit of information about your dog, we present you with the meal plan. Right now we have a full and a topper plan where, a topper plan is going to be a little bit less than a full plan would be. And that comes with anywhere from about a week's to a month's worth of food on the full plan, and typically, about the same for a topper plan. You're able to pause, cancel your subscription at any time. You can move your boxes. We have our PetPlate, team members can help you if you email into our customer service department, and they'll move boxes, mix and match or add or remove flavors for you. So we really like to say that, we value like customer service and just being there for all of the pet parents that are trusting us with their dog's nutrition. In terms of cost, obviously it's going to vary based on the weight and size of your dog, but in general, PetPlate, ends up being about, 2.5 times more expensive than like a wet food. And, due to the quality of the ingredients, right, we just think it leads to better health outcomes. So while you might spend a little bit more on food, we like to believe you're going to spend a lot less on vet bills later on down the road. And the toppers plan, obviously, also, since we're sending you less food, costs less and is a way to introduce human grade dog food into your pet's diet. In terms of cost, let's say you're Havanese, which is probably, 15-ish or so pounds, maybe getting close to 20 is my guess.
Little. He's like 13, 14, unless he put on weight on vacation, which
hopefully he didn't. But, like a 10 to 20 pound dog, just to, throw out an example, is going to be about $70 a month. So, not, out of the question, I think, for a lot of people who, really value their pet's health. And, toppers plans are going to be less than that over the course of a month. So obviously, as you get the bigger dogs, that increases. But, we are working on trying to, make the toppers plans kind of, stand out a little bit more for those customers that, can't go all of the way in terms of feeding a fresh cooked diet. And we're working on, new innovative ideas that can help, bring the qualities that we value in a product like PetPlate to our customers at a cheaper price.
Well, I like the transparency of the pricing. I think that's great. I mean, when I put Nikki's details in, the toppers for him were something like $2 a day.
Yeah. Unless you have like a 50-pound dog, I went to Starbucks today and spent $6 on a coffee, right? Like, unless you have a 50-pound dog, you're spending less on that for PetPlate a day than you would, buying a latte from Starbucks.
Exactly. And if your dog is not eating food, and think about how much you're wasting, the food I get him, it's a premium with a celebrity name attached to it. So It's a premium little pouch. That's just that one little pouch thing is $2. And that's something that's been sitting on the grocery shelf. It's not fresh ingredient, obviously can't be that fresh. And I use that as a topper. So
yeah. PetPlate will be an easy transition. And, we have special plans, again, that our CX team can always direct people to if they have questions about how to make PetPlate fit into their lifestyle.
Okay. Speaking about that, you mentioned toppers would be a good way to transition your pet. What are the other suggestions? If someone just decide, you know what, I'm going to go all out and just order his full food, but I still have his old food. What are your recommendations for? Is it different for puppies and seniors? Is it different for small dogs, large dogs? Does it depend on how the dog is, the overall health of the dog for transitioning them to a PetPlate food?
Yeah, we have general transition guidelines for all of our customers that really don't vary very much unless your dog has a very sensitive stomach. But, it's really important to ease your dog into like a new diet. And what I would do is start with 75% to 80% of their old food and 20% of PetPlate. And, do that over 1 to 2 days. Make sure that they've properly adjusted and you're not noticing, big changes during the morning walk. And then after that, get closer to like 30 to 50%, then 50 to 75%, and then you can do the full transition. We recommend taking about a week to do this transition. And that gives you a really nice way of, just making sure that, you're not going to surprise your dog's digestive system. Now, if you have a really sensitive pup, I would recommend going even more slowly and just sticking at that 25% of their meal for a little bit longer before you start ratcheting it up, just so that they have a full time to digest. And the great thing is if it's taking a little bit longer to transition, you don't have to worry. You can just hop on your account at our website and push back your box. So we send you a reminder email so you know that when another shipment is coming, and all of that is going to be easy for you to manage.
And that is if your dog is not on special food that your vet recommends.
Yep, exactly.
If you're check with your vet.
Yeah, on special food that your vet recommends, it's always best to check with them. In addition to being very transparent about our prices, we're very transparent about our ingredients and our nutritionals. So if you email us and you ask how much fat is in this diet, how much salt, how much copper, we can quickly get you that information for your vet to help you make the best decision for your dog.
Okay, Renaldo, I think your prices are very reasonable for the quality of your product. I've seen different products online. There's one, and I'm not going to mention the name, but when I calculated the cost, it was something like $300 a month. And maybe for some, $300, $400, $500 a month to feed their dog is not, a lot. But when I have a lot of fur kids, I have 7, five.
Yeah,
so
that's a lot.
There's others I have to think about. So, it can easily add up to $1,000 a month just for the fur kids. And I didn't even count me in, So what do you say to these, if someone was going to compare and say, well, this one's more expensive, must be better, this and that, because I'm sure you've heard some of that as, PetPlate has, been around for a little while and growing. What is your answer to that? What about the ones that are more expensive? Are you just as good? Better?
Yeah. I think in particular, like, raw pet food in general is, or freeze-dried dog food in general is way more expensive than products like PetPlate. So, I think, again, it all comes down to what's going to, fit best in your lifestyle. We've optimized PetPlate to deliver a best-in-class customer experience, whether it's our packaging, easy portioning instructions, the fact that you can microwave the meals for your dog really quickly, the flexibility of our plan. So I think we just deliver a higher value for your dollar at PetPlate. And, it's really that is what should drive your decision, not the end price. Think about how they're shipping you the food, how much food they're shipping you, how many recipe options do you have, how flexible are their subscriptions. And I think if, they're adding enough value to charge that much and it's convincing, great. But I think you might realize that a lot of the value is just in the ingredients and in the personalization and in some of the packaging, at which point, depending on if you do the math, like I do the math, you'll probably think PetPlate is the best value out there on the market.
And, I also want to commend you on adding toppers for those that want to try your product, but they might have, again, several fur babes and they just can't afford the full meal plan for each one.
One thing we don't support at PetPlate is demonizing kibble and people that are using kibble. And we find that a lot of companies in the space don't offer topper plans because they don't want you feeding your dog kibble. We understand that there have been a lot of healthy dogs that have eaten it and a lot of people that are using kibble. Now, we think fresh is better, and we would love to help you explore the journey on transitioning your dog to a fresh cooked human grade diet. But we're not about making the feeding process more difficult for a pet parent because, they prefer kibble for one reason or another. Maybe their dog's on a prescription dog food plan. We would hate to not be able to give you the option to use PetPlate as a topper if you had to feed your dog that for a specific reason. So we just try to be more thoughtful about that. And I think over the time, the more people have good experiences like you and Picky Nicky, the more customers will win at the end of the day.
Yeah, Picky Nicky will make it to my Instagram eventually. Okay. So, Renaldo, while I was on your site, I noticed a nice, pleasant surprise. You have a special 50% intro rate. What is that?
Yeah, so, we consider that a little bit of a trial for our customers. We understand that making the decision to switch your dog's diet is not an easy decision. And, a lot of people have questions and concerns. What if my dog doesn't like it? What if I don't have enough refrigerator space? What if it just doesn't work for my lifestyle, or I need to pause a box? Like, there's just so many questions before you sign up for a subscription. So what we wanted to do is say, hey, we're so confident that your dogs are going to love our food. We're so confident that once you order PetPlate, you're going to want another box, that for your first box, we'll give it to you 50% off. And if your dog doesn't like it, we have a money back guarantee. Very, very few people actually take up the money back guarantee. And most people come back and order a second box with us. Actually, about 70% of pet parents that try PetPlate get a second box. So I think that proves that people really like the experience. Dogs love the food. So we just get we're very confident in trialing the product. We're also now in some independent pet stores. So that's another way for you to go and just buy one container to see if your dog likes the food too.
Okay. And my other hat that I wear, it's all about cats. Have you considered going into cat food, or is they're a whole other ballgame? So is that no, let's just keep the cats doing their own thing.
Yeah, I mean, so cats are definitely a whole nother ballgame. And, I guess even taking a step back, this all just goes back to why I started PetPlate. I started PetPlate because I wanted to feed my dog fresher food. He had a very sensitive stomach and was, struggling on the traditional dog food diet. So I started cooking for him and he instantly did better. So that's kind of how we initially started the business. And that's been our focus up until this point. But, with the name PetPlate, we can't really continue to ignore cats. So that's something that we're going to start really looking into over the next year or so. And hopefully we'll have our first test of recipes in the next, kind of towards the end of next year or early in 2023.
Good to know. And I guess you need to go ahead and adopt a cat, right?
Yeah, I definitely will. I don't know how Cooper's going to feel about having a cat brother. So
they acclimate.
They figure it out.
They figure it out.
Yeah. We'll read the blogs about how to transition your dog and a cat to being good brothers and sisters. But we're looking forward to that.
I actually think dogs and cats are better than cats and certain other cats.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
I have two sisters that still don't get along. Two sisters, different litters. And then, okay, let's talk about this. Where can people buy PetPlate? You mentioned that there's independent pet stores and, of course, your website.
Yeah, so you can buy PetPlate on petplate.com. That's where you can go and get a subscription. You can also get our organic treats and supplements for your dog. And you can buy our organic treats and supplements as a one-off purchase as well, and a 4-pack on our website. And then right now we're across around 100 Pet Supplies Plus stores across the U.S. And then we're going to be rolling out across other independent pet stores shortly.
Well, I wish you great success, and you have a great product. And thank you so much for coming on Best Bets for Pets.
No, of course. Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed that. True story with Picky Nicky. He loved PetPlate. Be sure to check out the website because their intro box is 50% off and the food is great. That's at petplate.com. I'd like to thank my guests for coming on Best Bets for Pets, telling us all about PetPlate. Thanks to Picky Nicky for loving PetPlate. I mean, I should have taken a video of him gobbling everything. Soon I will. And thanks to everyone listening to Best Bets for Pets, making our show 11 years strong. So thank you so much. And huge thank you to Mark Winter for making me and my guests sound amazing. Now keep listening. You never know what's going to be coming up on Best Bets for Pets.
Let's Talk Pets every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.